Well, hey guys, and welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. It's so great to have you here on the show. If this is your very first time coming, I want to say thank you. And I want to say, of course, I want to say the word welcome. If you've been here many times before, whether that's once or many other times, then I want to say thank you. And of course, what I want to say to you is welcome back. Always great to have people that enjoy the quality and the content of my show. So it is so great to have you here. This is, yes, a brand new master topic week. As you know, we started that yesterday. And if you have not checked out believemeachieve.com, what are you waiting for? Go check it out after the show is over, not right now. And oh, if you're thirsty, if you're hungry, feel free to grab some RO water or the beverage like I have here. I don't want you to be parched or obviously to be hungry while you're watching or listening to the show. So, without any further ado, guys, let's kick this show off. But before I do, I want to let you know that on 1:30 p.m. this Friday, that is April 17th, of course, we're going to have an Inspirations for Your Life show, but there's going to be a special surprise in it. Well, the surprise is that I'm going to give you the title of my book. There'll be a full dedication. So there'll be a shorter IFYL show, but a big part of it is going to be the launching of my new book. And I'm not sharing the title until that time. And then right after the title's announced, bam, within like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, the book will be available for sale in hardcover, Kindle, as well as, yes, Audible as well. All right. So, guys, let's kick this off. All right. This is Inspirations for Your Life. It is Sunday. How environment shapes everything. That's our granular. Series 5, Show 16, and episode number 2. But the master topic, ladies and gentlemen, of the week is actually changing direction. And what do I mean by actually changing direction? So, um, this is a very important thing. A granular is how environment shapes everything, okay? And the master is this, how people actually change their direction without even realizing it. And I think that's a very important thing that many people don't realize. How people quietly change direction is not usually about one dramatic decision. It is about behavior, exposure, pressure, and the systems around them that shape outcomes over time. All right. So, if you didn't know who I am by now, please allow me to introduce myself. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm an engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, keynote speaker, graduate student, and a passionate lifelong learner. And soon, this Friday, I will be a published author. Yay. So tonight I'm talking about something interesting. I'm breaking down one of the most underestimated forces in our human behavior. What is it? Environment. Most people think their results come from effort alone. Nope. Most people think they just need to try harder. They want to push more and longer. Nope. But in reality, what surrounds you is often doing more than your willpower. Bet you're wanting to know what that is. Your environment is not neutral. It is training you, it is shaping you, it is influencing what you notice, what you repeat, what you avoid, and what you become. Yep. A lot of people ignore it, but it's still programming them. That means your outcomes are not only connected to what you want, they are connected to what your environment keeps making easy, familiar, visible, and automatic for us. If you want to understand why people change direction without realizing it, you have to start with what surrounds them every single day. What is that? Their environment. All right, guys, let's kick this off. Number one, environment drives behavior automatically. I bet you didn't know that. Most people do not realize how much their actions are triggered by what is around them instead of what they consciously decide. Number two, you adjust to what surrounds you. Human beings are adaptive by nature, which means your standards, pace, and habits often shift to match, well, your environment. Number three, guys, inputs shape outputs. What you consume mentally, emotionally, and physically affects what you produce in every area of your life. Number four, exposure, exposure to certain ideas, behaviors, and expectations quietly changes what feels normal and possible. Number five, guys, you absorb what you see daily. What stays in front of you consistently starts shaping your beliefs, focus, and the decisions that you make. Number six, guys, surroundings influence decisions. Your space, your people, your routines, and your digital habits all affect what choices feel natural, comfortable. Number seven, people mirror their environment. Over time, most people begin to reflect the energy, standards, and patterns of what surrounds them. Number eight, context defines choices. The same person can act completely differently depending on the environment they are placed in. Number nine, guys, your space controls your actions. What is visible, accessible, or distracting in your environment often determines what you do next. Number 10, you rarely outperform your environment. If your setup keeps pulling you backward, effort alone usually will not be enough to overcome it for long to get you going forward. Number 11, signals guide behavior. The cues around you tell your brain what to focus on and what to ignore and what to repeat. Number 12, guys, noise creates confusion. Yes. Cluttered environments are a big problem, guys. Chaotic inputs and constant distraction reduce clarity and weaken our decision making. And you might say to me, John, why are we doing that? Well, I'll tell you why you're doing that. It's because you don't know that's actually a problem. You're not aware of how much that noise is preventing you from living a great life. Number 13, clarity comes from structure. Structure. When your environment is organized with intention, your mind can focus faster and act with more precision. Number 14, guys, environment reduces friction. The right setup makes, well, good actions easier and lowers the resistance that normally slows your progress. Number 15, guys, design affects discipline. Yep. People often think discipline is purely internal, but external design strongly determines how easily discipline feels. That's important. Number 16, guys, systems reduce decision fatigue. When your environment supports routines and systems, you waste less mental energy deciding what to do. And that's an important thing, guys. That is definitely an important thing. Number 17, better setups create better results. Improvements in environment often create immediate improvements in consistency, focus, and output. Let's talk about one, a study environment. If you have a quiet study environment and maybe you have the option for headphones to allow you to listen to some music, that would be productivity music, or maybe you have some nice chairs or beanbag or whatever you have, and it gets you comfortable, well, that can tell the mind and body, hey, it's okay to relax. And yeah, we can learn when we're more relaxed. Number 18, inputs matter more than the effort. If the quality of your input is poor, working harder often means reinforcing bad patterns faster. So, in the audio world, if we have bad inputs, we're going to get bad outputs. Now, we can filter, we can change the different levels, but if the output is really bad, then we're going to run into a problem. And there's only so much of a window that we can adjust. Yes, we can adjust a lot, but if it's really terrible, it's not too much we can do because then we're going to lower one thing and we're going to raise our ceiling and then we're going to cause something else to be a problem. So that's a real issue. So reinforcing bad patterns is not good. Our inputs dictate our outputs. What you consume, number 19, shapes direction. Media, conversations, environments, and habits all put your thinking toward certain outcomes. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Number 20, guys, digital environment matters too. Your phone, your feed, your notifications, and your online exposure shape your mind just as much as your physical space. Bet you didn't know that. Number 21, attention follows exposure. What you keep seeing starts capturing more of your focus, whether you intended it to or not. So we need to be mindful of that. Number 22, guys, you repeat what you see. Let me say that again. You repeat what you see. Repeated visual and emotional exposure increases the chance that certain behaviors become habits. So when our mind and body see something, right, it changes how we operate. It changes it. Whether we're aware of it or not, our subconscious is like a sponge and it just picks it up. Almost like a pickup mic, right? Whether you want it to pick you up in the room or not, if it's on and you're within so many feet of it, it's picking you up and sending you out on the air or sending you to the auditorium or wherever or recording you, etc. Number 23, habits follow structure. The stronger the structure around a behavior, the more likely that behavior will stick. Now, sometimes structure is so strong, but the structure is strong around weak behaviors. But because there's a strong structure, when I say weak, I mean that it's a poor behavior. It's not a supporting one for the greater good of all concerned, including ourselves. So that's important to acknowledge and understand. I think a lot of people today don't realize that their subconscious runs their mind and runs their body. Okay. If you're not happy with your results, well, let's take a look at what your subconscious has been absorbing. I think that's a very important one that a lot of people just don't seem to get. And the reason they don't get it is because they're not aware of what is going on. They're not aware. And because they're not aware, they can't stop anything. And our subconscious mind, guys, just operates without our awareness. Our subconscious has its own awareness, but the beginning, when we start to understand and become aware of things, now we can intercept that coming into, well, our brain. And our brain takes the information, sends it around, including our heart, which, by the way, our heart runs our body, not just pumping. Our heart, without getting into this tonight, it has a very unique function. It can hold memory of certain things. It has the ability to control the energy. Now you might say, John, where are you going on this? So everything in our world is energy. This microphone's energy, this water's energy, my cell phone, the laptop, the lights, the studio, everything here is energy. And so when our heart resonates in a certain energy, it goes together. An interesting story today, guys. There was this puppy, okay? And there was this big falcon bird. And this big falcon bird was outside, probably saw the puppy. And all of a sudden, this big falcon bird swoops in and picks up the puppy. I think the puppy was so scared. And you might have thought that the eagle was going after that puppy for his lunch or dinner. No, he took the puppy back to his nest where there were several babies of the eagle. And they were all like a family. It was something that the eagle picked up in the puppy. Maybe the eagle didn't have a father, so the eagle wanted to make sure that there was some way that the baby eagles could be taken care of. And it was a remarkable story because they would go and visit the puppy every couple days, watching the puppy up there. And that falcon, that big bird, was not only making sure that it found something for her babies, but she would go and get food for the babies. You know what else she would do? She would get food for the puppy. That's a pretty amazing relationship. A puppy, a big, gigantic eagle. You can't make this up. But when I heard about the story, I was like, you know why that happened? And I thought about it. It happened because of energy. If you've ever been around a dog before, hopefully you like dogs, pets. So I've learned this too. If you're around the animal and you are scared, the animal picks that up. If you are very calm and docile and has a good energy, the pet will come over to you. That's energy. That's remarkable. Number 24, guys, structure beats willpower. What is built into your environment usually wins over what you merely hope you will do. One of the things I talk about in my book is a certain type of structure with some techniques. And I never realized how some simple techniques with a pen, a paper could help me become successful. Very inexpensive. But you see, our mind doesn't judge whether we're using a $5,000 or $10,000 laptop to stay organized, or are we using a piece of paper? Our mind just cares that the data is organized. Our subconscious is very good at following patterns. The thing is, a lot of our patterns that are already set up for us, we don't like, and they're not for our greater good, but our subconscious still pays attention to it. Like I said, if you have that mic on or you have that speaker on, it's still going to play music or elicit a voice. Number 25, guys. People underestimate environment. Many people blame themselves for inconsistency without realizing how much their setup is working against them. This could be in studying. I know in very beginning days when I was starting to do, voiceovers, I never realized how important it was not just to have the great lighting and stuff like that, but also to have an environment that I feel comfortable in, having the right tools, obviously, but having them accessible in a certain way that feels natural makes production a lot easier and fun. Number 26, guys, remove friction to move faster. When the right action becomes easier to start, consistency rises naturally. Now, you might say, John, how do I know what the right action is? Great question. Go with your gut. Go with your energy. And as your energy is getting you to flow towards something, that will get you to make the change. Number 27, guys, add friction to stop bad patterns. Making negative behaviors less convenient is often more effective than relying on self-control alone. Let's talk about something. Let's say you're friends with somebody, and this friend is abusing you for the services that you can provide. Let's say professional services that you charge for. But because he or she is a friend, you actually don't charge that person. Maybe what you have to do is limit the amount of time that you're willing to give that person. Hey, I'm happy to help you today. I can spare 20 minutes. And then if they start calling you every day, I can spare an hour a week. So now if you did 20 minutes, that means you're willing to give 20 minutes for 5 days. If you said, I can only spend 30 minutes, you say, I can only spend 15 today. So now you're changing that trajectory. So I think when we start to learn about our value and we share that with others, it's not to be rude. It's to let people know that I value myself. I value you. And because I value my time, I expect you to value my time as well. So I'm just setting that precursor with you up front, because if you don't understand it and then you go over boundaries, you know what happens? Well, you can have anything from a virtual fight to physical fight to loss of respect. And I think these are big problems for a lot of people, but they don't necessarily want to say anything because they feel it might ruin the friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, newsflash here. If somebody is abusing you or constantly trying to, for lack of a better term, manipulate you, okay? I don't care if it's a client, I don't care if it's a neighbor. Oh, I'll take you to lunch. Oh, I'll take you to dinner. Oh, I've got candy for you. Oh, who cares? Right? They're basically trying to get your services for the cost of a lunch. And you're worth much more than a lunch. So when we start to become aware of ourselves and others and how these things are playing out, we can say, hey, I appreciate that you're offering me lunch. And I just want you to know that lunch is appreciated and it's also not something I can count towards your bill. They're going to become a little cold. And they're either going to A, change their tune, or B, they're like, oh, okay. I had that happen to me with somebody many years ago. Do you know that person and I are no longer friends? There was never a friendship. There was an abusive manipulation. And because I was always taught to be respectful to people, especially my elders, I let it slip through by subconscious. My filters never picked it up because it appeared that I was being nice. I was being polite. But really, I was being disrespectful to myself. And that's a big problem. Disrespect is not just something that can happen to others, it can happen to yourself. And so this happened to me for a long time that if we don't know how to respect somebody, if we don't know how to do that, if we can't respect ourselves, we'll never respect another person. Never. I mean, never, 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 never. Okay? Never. So you can talk about kindness all day long, and kindness does not equal me being weak. But the minute kindness turns into a manipulation, then it's time to become firm with, I understand you need my services and I offered to give you 15 minutes today. Well, it's going to take longer. I understand. I'm able to give you 15 minutes. So what happens after that? Well, then I'll start charging you in half hour or hour increments, my normally rate. How much is that? How many hours? Oh, it could be 2 to 4 hours. And I do expect payment via cash, check, or credit card at the end of the service. If we need to make a payment arrangement now, let's talk about that if you need to. How much is the bill going to be? I don't know, between anywhere from $300 to $1,000. Well, that's a big range. Well, it depends on how many hours I'm here. Oh. Now they get a lot more finicky about what they really need you for. They don't need you to hold the screw. They don't need you to change the batteries in the flashlight. They don't need you to hook up the cable box. They need you to do one thing or two things because now they're paying you. You already value yourself. And once you value yourself, other people will start valuing you or they will just leave the situation. Number 28, change environment to change outcomes. When you alter the conditions around you, you often change the direction of your results. That could be furniture. That could be anything from the way the sound is, let's say, absorbed. It could be the type of lighting you have in your home or your office. Okay. It could be the type of chair you're sitting on. Right. All these things play into our sense. See, hear, touch, taste, smell, feel, proprioception. For those of you who forgot what proprioception is, that's the ability to tell where a specific joint or part of our body is at any time, whether our eyes are open or our eyes are closed. I can tell you my hand's up here, my eyes are closed, hands down here, my hand is down there. I can tell because of proprioception. Okay. Number 29, guys. External shifts create internal change. Changing what surrounds you can reshape how you think, feel and respond over time. There is no rush to do this in 5 minutes or even to do it overnight. But many people push because they're like, oh, I got to get it done tonight. When you rush to get it done, I'll tell you something, you're probably going to have to redo it several times, right? So let's get it done right the first time, even if it's a little slower. Number 30, guys, control inputs, control results. If you want different outcomes, one of the fastest ways to get them is to become more intentional about what you allow around you. So I was talking to a friend of mine who we do breakfast with at the church. We do it once a month, a breakfast club. And he had one of these kind of like fancy little coffee pots you put on the stove from, it was actually not the one from Italy, but it was a knockoff made from the guy that originally made the more expensive, the expensive one. So he puts the coffee in and puts the water in and tastes it and everything. And he fills it up to the line. I said, how is it? He says, oh, it's terrible. He said, it's too watery. I said, I guess maybe it needs less water. And put less water in. It's only a second or third time. So by changing the way, so change can not only be the ingredient, and ingredient is not just limited to food. It could be what we do or don't do, right? The action is also an ingredient. And just by altering one thing, something can shift. But if we kept putting that teapot together, that coffee pot together the same way, we would just have a mess. Okay, that's one of the things we're live on the air. You just sneeze. So I have to tell you that knowing that you do the same thing over and over again, and if you expect different results, Einstein said that's insanity. So don't do that. That's probably the biggest thing I want to tell you. And I want to say this in closing. Here is the real takeaway for this evening. Most people are trying to change their lives without changing what keeps shaping their lives every day. That is why they stay frustrated. That is why they stay inconsistent. That is why they keep making promises to themselves and then falling back into the same old pattern or loop. Because effort matters, but environment often decides whether that effort lasts. If you want better results, do not just ask what you need to do differently. Ask what around you needs to change. Ask what you keep seeing. Ask what keeps distracting you. Ask what keeps pulling you into the same patterns. Ask what needs to become easier. Ask what needs to become harder. Because the moment you become intentional about your environment, you stop leaving your direction to chance. You stop drifting. You stop reacting. You stop depending on willpower alone. And you begin building a setup that supports the version of you actually wanted to become forever. That is how people quietly change direction without realizing it. Not through one emotional moment, not through one speech, not through one promise, but through what surrounds them, shapes them, and trains them every single day. For more insights, perspectives, and content designed to motivate and help you think more clearly and act intentionally, visit believemeachieve.com, and we'll see you on the next show real soon. Remember, your next level starts with what surrounds you. So change it now.